How's it going, everyone? Dave Brown back with the New Populist. Thank you again for joining me. Well, today's video might upset some conservatives, some fellow Trump supporters, because I have a different take on this Daniel Penny case up in New York. Of course, Daniel Penny is the Marine who subdued a lunatic on a train, and this lunatic ended up dying. And Daniel Penny was charged with manslaughter and negligent homicide. Now, he was just found not guilty, and let me say that I'm okay with that verdict. I don't want to see Daniel Penny get his life ruined. I think he was acting as a good Samaritan to protect himself and people on this train where this lunatic was going crazy and making threats. So I didn't want to see this guy get hurt. But that being said, there is a narrative from the right, from conservatives, that there was no case here, that it never should have been brought. And the reason that conservatives feel this way is, for a lot of reasons. One, it's New York City, where you have Alvin Bragg, the DA, who is a scumbag. They don't like him. I don't like him. So anything he's involved with, they get obviously annoyed. There's a racial element where they feel that Penny was only charged because he was white, and that perhaps is true. And they know that Black Lives Matter and the left had jumped on this and was using it as a propaganda thing, where they were accusing white men of murdering black men. So for those reasons, conservatives and Trump supporters were fairly emotional about this case. Very frustrated that it was brought. But again, I think they're wrong here. I think there was some level of criminal negligence on the part of Daniel Penny, even though he was trying to do the right thing. So, and this has to do with, self-defense and restraining somebody, right? You have the right to self-defense. Not arguing that. He was acting in good faith to restrain this guy. Not arguing that at all. No problem restraining him. The issue comes down to whether what he did was excessive. If you're defending yourself, for example, you're at McDonald's, you're in a line, some guy shoves you. Can you pull out a gun and shoot him? Well, no. That's self-defense, but it is excessive. In the case with Daniel Penny here, he was restraining Jordan Neely. There is no problem with restraining the guy who was being a lunatic and making threats. The question is, was he excessive, and was the manner of restraint legal and necessary? And he put Jordan Neely in a rear naked choke for 7 minutes. And after Neely went limp, he held the chokehold for another 57 seconds. And here's the picture here of the chokehold here. That's a rear naked chokehold. And if applied correctly, a rear naked chokehold, you're pressing on the arteries on both sides of the neck, and that person will go unconscious within 10 seconds. Now, oftentimes you go for the hold and you don't get it locked in properly, and the guy's squirming, so he's not going unconscious. But again, if applied correctly and tight, 10 seconds, the person's out. And if you keep holding it, there's no oxygen going to their brain, and you can kill somebody. It is a lethal maneuver when held long enough. And that is the case here. That's the problem here. It's not the right to self-defense, not the fact that he restrained Neely. It is whether or not he was excessive by using a rear naked choke and holding it for that long. And, especially in a situation here where you see in this picture, he had two other guys helping him. So it's 3-on-1. You got the guy in a rear naked choke. Let it go. You got the guy. He's, you can pig pile him at this point. You can put a seatbelt maneuver on him. There's a lot of ways to restrain somebody, very painful ways to restrain somebody that won't threaten their life. And in this case, in my opinion, he should have released that hold, especially when he went limp and did something else. And in my previous life, I worked security, and I have physically restrained hundreds of people, some very nasty, drunk, belligerent people, and I almost never, ever used the chokehold because I was paranoid that I might accidentally kill somebody. There was probably 2 times I've actually used that hold, and I didn't hold it for more than 5 seconds. I got the person's attention, got them under control, and then switched my hold into something else. Again, because I was paranoid that I might accidentally kill somebody. And in this case here again, 7 minutes of an RNC, guy goes limp, and you keep on holding it. Now, just because the guy's a bum, he's violent, and he's a repeat offender, doesn't mean that you can just kill the guy in the situation, even if it's by accident. So, do I think that Penny was trying to do the right thing? Absolutely. Do I think he's a bad guy? No. Do I think that he made a mistake in what he did? Yes. And for that reason, while I'm not upset that he was found not guilty, there was, I think, in my opinion, grounds for charges. And there were 2 of them, manslaughter and negligent homicide. And the manslaughter charge, he could have gotten 15 years. But the lesser charge, which is the one that they were looking at, is up to 4 years, and I think a minimum of 6 months. So if he had been convicted on that, the judge could have theoretically just given him 6 months, not the whole 4 years. And if that had happened, I wouldn't have been happy about it. But at the same time, I would have been like, well, there is, by the letter of the law, that wouldn't be a ridiculous charge to find him guilty of. So, again, I think conservatives, Republicans, letting letting their emotions sort of block out their logic. I understand why they're frustrated. We have a government that has been derelict in their duty to protect us, and we're frustrated. We've seen too many of these criminals on the streets, assaulting people, sucker punching people, peeing on the streets, crapping on the streets. And you just get to a point where you're like, you know what, I don't care anymore. Do what you got to do to, defend against these people out there. So they see Penny here and they go, come on, we're so sick of this. This guy's on the train. There's women there. He's scaring. He takes them down. Who cares what happens? So I get the sentiment. I get the emotion there. But again, by the law, by the letter of the law, I do think there was some grounds again for a criminal charge, and I don't think it was ridiculous. Again, because of the DA there, Alvin Bragg, it's hard to want to agree with him on anything, and we know he's not operating good faith. We know he's a scumbag, and that's again another reason why conservatives don't want to give an inch here at all, and I understand it. So I get where conservatives are coming from, but I always try to analyze these cases free from any politics, any emotion, and just give an honest take of what I see. So for all you guys out there, if you're ever in a position where you have to defend yourself or other people, be careful, stay away from the chokeholds, and don't put yourself in a position where you're Daniel Penny in court with your life on the line. So you got to be careful out there and defend yourself, but defend yourself in a way that is legal. Well, that is it for now. If you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.